Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Anxiety Chats. Today, we have another anonymous story for you, and we are joined by lovely guest Shawna. If you would like to share your anonymous story with us, just head to the description of wherever you are listening to this podcast, or you can come on and chat with me in person on the podcast. So welcome, Shawna.
Thank you so much for having me back. It's a pleasure to be here.
How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good today, I'd say. It's a rainy, cold day here where I am in Ontario, Canada. I would like to have a little bit of sunshine. But just coming back from a long weekend. We had a long weekend here. I got my first weekend of camping in, and we got to have a little bit of sunshine. So
Nice.
I'll take it.
That's amazing. And how's your anxiety been recently?
I'm going to say it's been like up and down. Life has just been a little overwhelming, like nothing major. It's just a busy time right now with the kids in their last month of school. They both started baseball. My youngest is in art classes. We're building a new house. It just seems like we have a lot going on, and I don't know if it's my anxiety or what, but like I get overwhelmed easily. And that's when I start feeling that like pressure on my chest. That's when I know I need to like take a step back. So I've been trying to do that.
That's so great that you noticed that. And I'm the same actually. Just like, I actually think quite a lot of people are feeling this just now. I don't know what it is. If it's like, it's changing seasons here to be more hot. Obviously not over there, but like everyone seems to just be quite overwhelmed. And I don't know if it's just a symptom of, I don't really know, but I'm the same. Like just suddenly normal day, everyday tasks just feel a little bit heavier, and then pile them up with lots of different tasks. It just gets, you just kind of get weighed down. So you need that time to just relax and just like have nothing on, which I imagine is tricky with kids.
Yeah, we're coming into summer here as well. Like today is cold, but on the weekend it was really warm. So it's all that like the yard work and getting the house and the yard summer ready. It's all the little chores added on with the everyday chores, and sometimes it just feels like the plate's a little too full.
It does, and that can lead to, and it's good actually in some ways that we get physical anxiety symptoms, because it kind of is a warning sign, isn't it? It's kind of like I'm going to give you this just so you know that you're at your limit now, and then you can kind of slow down.
I 100% feel it physically before I feel it like in my brain.
Me too, 100%. But interestingly, I wonder if it's been going on in our brain for a while, but we've just not noticed it until a physical symptom happens. Probably. Kind of what I realized. Yeah, but we're just not aware because we're so used to our brains just being on overload all the time.
Well, exactly. And I know that there's a book out there. I think it's called like The Body Talks. It's something like that. But it basically explains that, when we're feeling stressed or overwhelmed or anxious, our body is giving us all the signals and signs, but we just don't often listen to it. And that's when we can get sick or chronic illness or a virus or something. And I've been trying harder just to listen to my physical body and take the cues, take a rest, take a day off if I need to, and just kind of recuperate.
100%. Sorry, I'm just going to move this. We just got a new kitten and she's trying to eat my big cat's food, and I can just hear her in the corner being like, I don't like that.
She wants it on the podcast.
She does, actually. She's not been on yet, and my older cat has, so it's probably that.
Yeah.
So today's episode, the title is that this person went on a walk by themselves for the first time ever. So it sounds like a really great episode, a really, really great story, and one of obviously quite a big accomplishment for this person. So we don't know anything about this person. We don't know their gender or anything. So I'll get ahead and read that now. 23 years on this planet, and I finally mustered up the courage to go on a walk by myself. My anxiety a year ago wouldn't even let me leave the house or drive a car. I know it's small, but I cried the entire drive home because of how proud of myself I was and how free I felt. Anxiety is a shackle that prevents you from living how you want to. I finally said fuck it and drove to a trail, parked, got out of my car, and walked 3 miles. I'm so excited to start doing it more and living my life the way I want, now that I'm not scared. A small step in conquering this giant beast. If you've been going back and forth with trying something new and scary, this is your sign to try it. I love this story so much.
Oh, wow. That's a big step. The person said a small step going forward, but wow, suddenly like not really leaving your house to driving to a trail and walking 3 miles. That's a huge step.
That's what I was thinking. 3 miles is actually really quite a long way.
That is on a trail. So I'm guessing maybe either in the woods or like out in nature somewhere. It sounds like the person was by themselves.
Yeah.
Like not with a comfort person, you know? That's a really big step. That person should be very proud of themselves. I wonder if they did any type of exposure therapy prior. I guess we don't know.
I imagine they did. I mean, people call it different things, don't they? Like exposure therapy. And I had a friend recently say to me, exposure therapy, why do you always say that? Because it sounds so horrible. And I'm like, it's not as horrible as it sounds, but I suppose maybe there's a kinder phrase to use. I don't know. I always use exposure therapy. But like,
yeah,
I think it's not like this is she said, this person said, conquering this giant beast. That's a really good way to put it. That's how I definitely describe the anxiety. It feels like a giant beast.
It really does. And
takes you're slaying over it. Yeah.
Pretty much every aspect of your life. It's like this looming dark cloud around you at all times. And good for that person for letting like a little bit of sunshine in their life.
Definitely. And this is the thing, is you can have anxiety, have an anxiety disorder, struggle with anxiety, and also start introducing joy again. And that can be really hard, but joy that doesn't even necessarily include forcing yourself into situations. Joy could include painting or going for walks like this person said, or doing things that just bring you happiness. Like, how can we all bring a little bit of that and also have anxiety? I imagine on this 3 mile trail, this person didn't feel completely calm and wonderful the whole time. I think that's unrealistic.
No,
and
exactly.
I've noticed of people. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people saying, "Oh, I really enjoyed that, but I felt really anxious." And it's almost like they're saying, "Yeah, I went and did that, but I didn't succeed because I was anxious."
Yeah, I do a lot of things anxious, and I feel like you can be anxious and you can be happy at the same time. Like both things can be true. Both things can exist in the same moment. And well, you know, my like Instagram hashtag anxiety and laughter. And I feel like that like describes my life perfectly. Like I'm anxious a lot, but I'm happy a lot. And I can relate with that person. I've had a few panic attacks while walking. And going for walks alone is something that does give me some anxiety, especially certain streets where I've had previous panic attacks. It's almost like some PTSD. And I get nervous turning those corners. And you know what? I am not like that person yet. Like I can't say that I have walked 3 miles on my own yet. I'm still in like the phase of like walking around my block on my own. Just, you know, 10 to 20 minutes is kind of where I'm at right now. I'm working on building myself up. So good for that person for just going out and doing it and tackling the goals. I'm more of like a baby step kind of person. It's just what I need, I think. I think that's what I've been doing anyways. But yeah, like I just envisioned that person on their walk and they probably at times felt very anxious or panicky even. I'm guessing their heart rate was through the roof at times. they probably felt short of breath at times, or like, you know what, when you're really anxious and your legs turn jello-y.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I wonder what was going through their brain at that time.
totally. And it's interesting because I know a lot of people struggle to do things by themselves. I'm actually the opposite in that I don't like doing things with other people. So going on a 3 mile walk
Okay.
by myself to me would be like still some anxiety probably, but I'd find that much easier than going for a 3 mile walk with somebody. So, and I know that's quite unusual, but I think it's for me, it's kind of like if I'm by myself, I can listen to my headphones, I can turn back whenever I want. I don't really need to explain to anybody. But you know, by myself, I just like, yeah, I'm just feel much better. But so what is it about for you, and maybe this person, what is it that makes you feel more comfortable when you're with somebody else?
For me, my anxiety is very much health anxiety. I worry about like a medical emergency happening to me. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel more comfortable if I'm with someone. That way my non-logical brain tells me that if something happens to me, that other person is there to help me. That's just how
Right.
my brain works. So I I have my certain group of people that I feel comfortable with. Yeah, I think that's just why I feel more comfortable with somebody, especially on a
Mm-hmm.
longer walk. If I'm in
Yeah.
my own neighborhood where there's other houses and my home is close by and I have cell
Mm-hmm.
reception, then I am okay on my own.
That makes complete sense. It really does. And there's so many reasons why somebody
Yeah.
might feel that way. I mean, it could be even social anxiety for seeing other people outside. It could be a whole number of things. But I love this person said
Yeah.
one day they just said, fuck it. And I think that there's a book
Yes.
called, I'm sure there's a book that's something along the lines of like, feel the fear and do it anyway. And it's like, it's just
Yeah.
feeling that. It's probably the hardest thing somebody with anxiety could possibly do, but feeling all of those symptoms and emotions and saying, okay, I'm going to keep going. I mean, I think that's, for me, I think that's what I'm really, really trying to work on at the moment. And it's just so not easy. So I'm so proud of this person. It's incredible.
Yeah. That's actually one of my favorite quotes ever is feel the fear and do it anyway. I feel like I need to like get that tattooed on myself somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's so true. And I feel like for me, like if I didn't do things scared, I feel like I wouldn't do a lot of things. Like I wouldn't be living.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean I do things scared all the time. And good for them. I'm guessing that person probably just got tired of like hiding away and letting the anxiety take over all the time. So they're
Yeah.
pushing back, or they're pushing through it, like not necessarily fighting the anxiety, but like learning to live alongside anxiety. And I feel like that's probably the goal for so many people living with anxiety or like any mental illness, is just learning to live a happy, joyful life with that mental health diagnosis.
Definitely. I actually think a big part of like getting to that point is like getting bored, because I've off the kind of emotion I've been feeling quite a lot of recently is you can sit at home, and this is just my personal experience, but you can sit at home and be like, right, I mean, I could go out there, I could go out and do it, but I'm too scared to do it. And the more you feel like that, the more you are like, life is out there, the whole world is out there. The more I think bored and fed up and frustrated you get, there almost can be good emotions to help you get up and be like, right, I am done with this now. I want to go out there. I want to go for that walk. I want to go for that swim. I want to go for that cycle, whatever it is. I want to get out. It's like whenever I'm feeling boredom now, I'm kind of like, this is a good like catalyst to help me get out there.
Yes, I agree. There were times where I felt jealous too. I felt jealous of like my friends and family who were out doing the things that they wanted to do. And there I was like sitting on the sidelines, letting anxiety hold me back. And once I started taking those like little steps towards where I like envisioned myself, life got a little better each time. And each time I did that thing, whatever it was, it gets a little less scary. For me, my big thing is water. I do have a bit of a water phobia now. And yeah, it's just baby steps. And every time I do it, it's a little less daunting. And that's success for me. That's where I'm happy.
Definitely.
I'm not yet like diving off boats again or anything like that, but I'm able to get into the water and have some fun with my kids in the pool or in the river, and that's success. And it sounds like your that story, that person that was telling the story found their success, and hopefully they keep going, and hopefully they start to experience new things that felt scary but brings them joy. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. It's really, really cool. And also, like you said, celebrating the small wins, because even if your family and your friends and everybody are really supportive, they won't really understand how massive it was for you, whether it's you going in the river with your kids or going on a walk by yourself or whatever it might be. They can really sympathize and empathize and be proud of you, but really have no idea how massive, how many thoughts it took to overcome that, how many physical symptoms you had to just let wash over you. People really they can't really understand fully. So that's why you need to be so on your own side and so like proud of yourself and celebrate massively when you do tiny things. Don't just let it. I think I'm quite guilty of being like, yeah, I just did that, but I still can't do this and this and this and this, so I'm not cured, so I can't be happy with myself. Rather than being like, we're not talking about that, we're talking about this little thing in this box, and we should be so proud and happy of ourselves with that, because I think that also leads to more recovery.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I fully agree. Every step forward, no matter how small it is, whether it was that person taking 3 steps on the trail and then having to like go back home because it was just too paralyzing, like taking those 3 steps is a win, and that's worth celebrating.
Definitely.
And, you know, maybe the next time that person will take 5 steps, and that's a win. And you're right. I think all too often we're thinking that we're failing because we don't make it to like the end goal, whatever that end goal is at the time. And then we feel ashamed or we're disappointed in ourselves and we beat ourselves up. But every little step is a step in the right direction. And I don't call it failure. I call it feedback. And I feel like that helps me to remind myself that little steps are worth celebrating, and then we can come back and just think about what went right, what we can work on next time, what we want to try differently. You know, we may look to different books or friends or family to just get some guidance from. But yeah, we really do need to celebrate every little step of the way. And you know how it is with anxiety, like recovery is not linear at all. We're going to have good days. We're going to have bad days.
Definitely.
Just got to keep going, one foot in front of the other. And that's what that person did.
Absolutely. And I think that, and though people will be rolling their eyes perhaps, but the number one thing is, I think, self-compassion. And it's people kind of sometimes can think, well, self-compassion, I don't need that. I need to just like push. I need to be hard on myself. I need to tough love it. I need to get there. I'm sick of feeling this way. And that's all very welcome and understandable. But I really do believe that the bottom underneath all of that, that's coming from a place of negative. It's coming from a place of lacking. And if we come from a place of, oh, I'm going to really try this, and if I don't manage to get as far as I wanted to, I'm going to really celebrate how far I got, and I'm going to reward myself with whatever I want to reward myself with, and also cuddle myself. And sometimes I rub my thighs, sometimes I put my hand on my heart, sometimes like last night I had a bad panic attack and it was horrible, and throughout the whole thing I was massaging my feet, I was massaging my back, I was like just like, you know, doing all of the things that felt nice in that moment, and it helps so much. And it can feel quite awkward, maybe it can feel quite uncomfortable for some people if you're not used to being that way with your body. That takes practice.
Well, you're right. And really beating yourself up for like emotions that you're feeling, it's like, that's not solving it. That's not getting you anywhere. Whereas, yeah, a little bit of that self-love, compassion, empathy for yourself, I feel like it goes a long way. And, you know, you're showing yourself that love, and that's what you need. in that moment. And I feel like if we're just going to beat ourselves up or push ourselves too far, that's just going to feel so negative, like in our brain, in our body, and we're not going to want to do that thing again. So,
Yeah.
I'm thinking for that person who was like out on their walk, if they did get to a point where they're pushing themselves too far, they're not going to want to go for a walk again because they're just going to remember how terrible it felt. Whereas it sounds like that person it sounds like they did it in a healthy way and they enjoyed it. So I'm guessing they probably showed themselves some empathy along the way and some compassion and really honored all the feelings that they were feeling along the way.
Definitely. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, 100%. And thank you so much to this person sending this story in, because I know it's not easy to always share, and just so that they know there's so many people going through this and so many people that feel stuck, and this is an amazing step towards the right direction. This is just like something that this person should be really proud of. And thank you so much, Shawna, for coming on and talking with us about it, because I know you understand this.
Oh gosh, I truly do. I feel like whenever you were reading that, I was like, oh, that sounds like me. Gosh, yeah, that person is definitely not alone. And I'm sure there's so many people listening to this podcast saying, I hope that could be me one day. And it can be them.
It can.
It's not easy, but they can get there.
They definitely can. Everyone can.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on and taking the time to speak to us again. It's always so lovely chatting to you. You're really great.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Shawna. And thank you, everybody, for listening. If you would like to, again, talk to us about your anxiety, you can either do it anonymously or you can come on the podcast and chat with us. Either way, we would absolutely love that. And thank you for listening. We will see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.